A verdict has been reached.
We've got our life back.
The shocking ending to the Scott Peterson trial. The Supreme Court has made a ruling.
It's going to be harder going out for opportunities like just to receive an education.
What this could mean for young college students. Saving the environment.
The initial idea was to plant 25 mangroves via donation.
How one teacher is doing his part to help out South Florida's natural ecosystems. And Florida faces an outbreak.
Humans have been at war with mosquitoes.
Why you should start using mosquito repellent more often. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Hawa Izel.
I'm Leon Abutarbush. Today is Friday, June 30th, 2023.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami. This is Caplin News.
Not guilty. That's the verdict for a former school resource deputy who faced charges for what he did not do on the day of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas school shooting. Scott Peterson and his wife are resting easier today without the weight of their legal problems. But the same cannot be said for families of the Parkland victims.
Caplin News reporter Daniela Toki is in the control center this morning.
In the aftermath of the tragic school shooting where innocent lives were lost and the community was left shattered, yesterday's verdict of a school police officer being found not guilty has caused pain for the victims' families. The jury decided that 60-year-old Scott Peterson was innocent, even though was accountable for the safety of students who went to school at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. He failed to confront the gunman, Nicholas Cruz, who killed 17 people who were students, teachers, and staff. First, we are going to hear from Peterson himself, and then reaction from parents of couple of Parkland victims.
We've got our life back after 4.5 years. 5.5. Because of Mark. Yep. And being able to put the truth out of what happened. It's been an emotional roller coaster for so long.
I think that the right thing to do, the manly thing to do, the honest thing to do is to walk out of that room quiet. Be quiet, Mr. Attorney and Scott Peterson. Keep your mouth shut, get in your car, and go to your perfect life.
Scott Peterson believes that doing nothing is synonymous with doing no wrong. I mean, he may have not have been legally responsible, not found legally responsible, but there's no doubt that he's morally responsible.
During closing arguments back on Monday, prosecutors one by one showed pictures of the victims trying to appeal to jurors and get that guilty verdict. But on 11 charges that Peterson faced, charges ranging from perjury to child neglect, the jurors found him not guilty. In the control center, Daniela Toki, Caplin News.
Legal precedent in place this morning after the justices of the U.S. Supreme Court strike down affirmative action for college admissions.
The Supreme decision getting handed down in D.C., that's where we find Caplin News D.C. Bureau reporter Samuel Lariel. He joins us live.
On Thursday, the Supreme Court decided to overturn affirmative action. This decision has the potential to change how admissions work in higher education across the country. Here is what you need to know. Rolling back decades of legal precedent, on Thursday, the Supreme Court's conservative majority struck down in a 6-3 vote affirmative action, arguing that both Harvard's and University of North Carolina's admissions programs could not be reconciled with the guarantees of equal protection law. The Supreme Court deemed race-conscious admissions as unconstitutional. Affirmative action has been upheld by the Supreme Court in 2 previous occasions during the last 20 years. For these students, Thursday's ruling was a big disappointment.
So it's very disheartening to see this, but we will not back down. This is still going to be a fight for us to still continue to campaign and to advocate for what is needed and for what is right.
It's going to be harder going out for opportunities like just to receive an education.
Melba Pearson, civil rights attorney working in South Florida, said this decision was deeply worrying and a setback for minorities fighting for equality in the U.S.
You can look back all through history. There's always a group that is opposed to progress because it threatens their power or their perception of the power that they have.
Still, Peterson said this decision didn't void higher education institutions from working towards inclusion and diversity among their student bodies.
While they cannot consider race on its face, they can consider other aspects such as economics, such as community service, such as the essays, which may talk about the person's lived experiences and why that led them on the path to college. Because at the end of the day, having a diverse campus only benefits students.
Today, we are expecting the Supreme Court to release a decision on President Biden's program to forgive about millions of dollars in student loans. We will keep informing as the court releases their decisions. Live from the Supreme Court, Samuel Arrial.
More tragic news coming out of Destin, Florida this morning as body cam footage has released regarding the death of former football player Ryan Mallett. In the video, an officer can be seen sprinting to the scene as another is already there. He confirms that Mallett has just been rescued from the water. Unfortunately, Mallett was unable to breathe and was pronounced dead when he was transported to the local hospital. He was 35.
A woman paddleboarding comes fin to fin with a shark this morning. The paddleboarder Malia Tribble was in the middle of the ocean halfway through an 80-mile trip from the Bahamas to Lake Worth Pier, where she encountered a hammerhead shark.
I was just kind of doing my thing, and I felt a little bit of a tap on my board, but I thought I was picking up seaweed. My husband jokes that it was the first time I've ever listened to him in my life.
Tribble says that this scare will not be slowing her down, and she will definitely be doing this event again next year.
Florida is one of 2 states dealing with cases of malaria this morning. In total, there are 5 cases of the potentially deadly illness, and as Caplin's Jan Preisler reports, mosquito prevention is in our best defense.
We all know them and we all hate them, and now we have an even bigger reason to avoid them. As for the first time in 20 years, several cases of malaria have been reported to be contracted by local mosquitoes.
Humans have been at war with mosquitoes for literally, millennia.
This week, the CDC sent out an alert warning of a potential rise in the risk of contracting malaria after 4 people in Florida and 1 person in Texas tested positive for the disease, with all 5 being treated. With more than 600,000 deaths a year being caused by malaria worldwide, experts say that the risk in the U.S. is still low, but warn the risk is higher in warmer, wetter climates like our own.
It provides a really fantastic environment for the mosquitoes to get out and about and enjoy their daily hunt for humans.
Connor McMiniman works with the Johns Hopkins Malaria Research Institute and says that the best way to protect against mosquitoes is to be prepared. Use window screens and fans to protect your home. Remove standing water and debris from where mosquitoes can congregate and breed. And when outside, make sure to cover up with long clothes and insect repellent.
Those containing active ingredients such as DEET, Picaridin, IR3535 are really wonderful synthetic ingredients that ward away mosquitoes.
The CDC has collaborated with Florida and Texas health departments and is carrying out active mosquito surveillance and control measures across the affected areas. For Caplin News, I am Jan Preisler.
Teaching marine biology in South Florida means you have to do more than just scratch the surface. Caplin's Amanda Gray reports from Pinecrest on a teacher who is taking lesson plans to new depths.
I am here at Miami Palmetto Senior High School, where one marine biology teacher is making waves in the world of ocean conservation.
Nicholas Quintairos grew up fishing and boating in Miami, where he developed a passion for the ocean. As time went on, he began to realize that the reefs around him were dying.
I started noticing all of the changes in the marine ecosystem down in the Keys.
He decided to create a company that brought the world of business and science together. With this in mind, he founded Real Ocean. Real Ocean, formerly known as 25 Degrees, is a media company dedicated to documenting and raising awareness of ocean solutions.
The initial idea was to plant 25 mangroves via donation for every product that we sold.
The company then decided to go all in and dedicate their time to documenting the waters.
The only real way I could do that is by taking a camera underwater. Then there's all sorts of different avenues that we can go from there. We can go into the education space and develop content for curriculum. We can go into the documentary space, is just kind of what we're currently doing.
On top of running Real Ocean, Nick teaches marine biology at Miami Palmetto Senior High.
My kids from day one pick up on like, hey, this guy loves his job. What I'm able to do is really take my experiences that I'm having in the field and bring them into the classroom and use them to kind of motivate my kids and show my kids what's going on.
And a new documentary is already in the works.
We're currently shooting a documentary on a disease called stony coral tissue loss disease, and is killing off essentially what's remaining of the Florida Reef. We're working with the AZA, NOAA, SeaWorld, Disney Conservation, a lot of the major conservation players here in the state of Florida.
Viewers can expect to see more content from Real Ocean on their different social media platforms. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Amanda Gray.
Lionel Messi takes Miami by a storm as he finally signs with Inter Miami in a historic deal. At a press conference introducing the new team manager, the Inter Miami chief soccer officer and sporting director Chris Henderson announced the news. Henderson eagerly anticipates Messi's arrival, stating that he hopes the football legend will be ready to go by the end of July. While paperwork remains the only obstacle, Messi's arrival is inevitable. The legendary player will soon complete the necessary formalities to become the greatest addition to Miami's sporting scene.
The Marlins packing extra big suitcases for their road trip to Boston because they had to leave room for brooms.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
This is a growing sport, but it's one that every kid has played.
It turns out that all of that pillow fighting that you used to do with your little brother was just training for the next big South Florida sport. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes.
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Panther in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Pillow power. It's what's fueling a hot new contact sport. Instead of the UFC, it's the PFC, complete with a championship belt and a scheduled appearance on ESPN.
Caplin News reporter Jared Parker goes ringside for a closer look.
Competitors are trying out for the chance to fulfill a childhood dream, to not only pillow fight, but to get paid to do it. That's where Pillow Fight Championship comes to bridge the gap between childhood game and a professional sport.
So yeah, just getting into it, I feel like it's been one of those things that I love doing ever since a kid. You come out here, you get paid to throw some pillows, so yeah man, a big dream of mine.
PFC now has their sights set on taking that childhood dream far.
This is a growing sport, but it's one that every kid has played. So there's 7.5 billion people in the world, and at least 7 billion of them wake up every morning with a pillow.
Now, a couple years and viral moments later, pillow fighting is making waves in the sports world with an ESPN showing coming soon.
We'll be flying the fighters up to participate in that. They'll be seen all over the world and get their moment of fame.
PFC rewards stylish fighters, giving 1 point for strikes to the head, but 3 points for spinning strikes to the head.
I know those points, the style points mean a lot more. So I was just trying to impress the judges, man.
The Pillow Fight show will air August 4th on ESPN Ocho Day. For Caplin News, I'm Jared Parker.
The Miami Marlins did what the Heat nor the Panthers could not: sweep Boston. The Fish played the final game of their series with the Red Sox in Boston, and it couldn't have gone better. Jesus Luzardo allowed only 3 hits, leaving the Red Sox scoreless, while Jazz Chisholm hit his 4th homer in the last 5 games. The final score was Marlins 2, Red Sox 0. The Marlins are down in Georgia to face their division rivals, the Atlanta Braves, later this evening at 7:20 p.m.
And that's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Leon Abutsarbush.
I'm Hawa Ezel. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.